Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you my review and discussion of City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. This is the fifth book in the Mortal Instruments series, and while I read the series for the first time, this was my most, least favorite book of all the 6 books. But this time, it's not so, because I identified why I didn't like the book for the first time when I read it for the second time, and it was really good. Just like the previous reviews, for the first 4 to 5 minutes of the video, I'll give it as a spoiler-free review. That is, I'll not be spoiling the first 4 books in the series as well as the first 2 books in the Infernal Devices series while reviewing this one. But when I jump into spoilers, I'll be talking about the spoilers for all the 6 books put together. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. First, talking about the plot of City of Lost Souls. Actually, the plot of City of Lost Souls is something which is very loose, because we don't follow the actual plot of the book throughout, because most of the times that we spend with the characters are those that are not involved with the actual plot of the book. We see characters undergoing separate developments in their individual ways, but each and every character's development is really good. That's the main focus of this book compared to the plot. But the actual plot is that by the end of book 4, that is City of Fallen Angels, 2 characters just disappear, and due to that there are a lot of repercussions that are happening within the world of the Shadowhunters, especially within the New York Institute, because that's where all this happened. And will they be able to find these 2 characters who have gone missing, and what has happened to those 2 characters? Are they alive or dead? Or if they are alive, where are they? If they are dead, how did they die? All these things are just answered in this single book. But the main plot of the book, if you ask me, doesn't start up until like halfway through the book, because we just get a lot of world building, a lot of character development. It's not at all boring in any way. Please don't take it in the negative sense. It's really good. And if you're a person who likes more character development and build up for the world rather than the plot as a whole, this is a really good book to pick. Moving on to the characters are the main things which actually draw my attention towards in this series. Mainly because the plot is not at all a big concern for me. Okay, the plot is really good as well. In all these 6 books, if you ask me, the 4th book is the only book in which there's not a lot of plot. Also this one, but this suffices a lot of things. The 4th book is kind of like a bridge book, yet it is really good. Without the existence of the 4th book, the 5th and 6th books are not possible. They'll not look as good. That's one of the main things. All the 6 characters, they undergo some sort of development in a really good way, but 3 characters are much more focused than any other person in this book. They are the Lightwood siblings, Izzy and Alec, and Simon. These are the 3 characters who just undergo like massive development. Of these 3, 2 are my most favorite. Okay, Izzy and Simon are like perfect. Okay, and also the Sizzy romance, the romance between Simon and Isabel, it's the slowest burn in the series, and we can just see how it starts and just brews really beautifully in this one. I just loved it for that. Also, apart from all the good people in the story, Camille is one of the main parts of this book. Okay, of the 6 main characters, we don't spend a lot of time with Magnus alone. Okay, that's mainly because a major portion of the story actually deals with Magnus, but Magnus is not present during the times when the story actually deals with him. There are multiple reasons behind that. If I say any of those things, there'll be spoilers for you. So if you're a person who likes good character work and character development especially, then you'll have to read this one, because the character work is really amazing compared to the first 4 books. Moving on to the world building, the world building is also really good in this one. That's mainly because most of the time in the first 3 books we have our focus only in New York, and in the 3rd book alone we go to some other place, and the 4th book is again throughout situated in New York alone. That's one of the main reasons why it is kind of a bridge book. But this one, here also we spend a lot of time in the New York Institute and across places inside New York itself. But apart from New York alone, we experience certain happenings between certain characters that happen at different locations within Europe. Okay, how they get to Europe, that's something that is very much important. If you consider the plot, it's really good in that sense. And there's a constant change of place. Okay, the story doesn't just take place in a single space itself. It doesn't take place just within Brooklyn or just within Manhattan or anything like that. It just keeps on changing, and it's really awesome in that sense. And the world building, apart from the shift of places, also deals with a lot of fleshing out of the world of the Shadowhunters, how the politics and power plays out in this world, what the Clave prioritizes when it handles a lot of stuff put together at the same time simultaneously. And also apart from these, we also get how the downworlders work, how the wolves are back, how the vampires like to be alone and make their way through most of the things, how the Sealies work. The Sealies are one of the best creatures if you ask me in this one. The Warlocks, we don't get a lot of Warlocks except Magnus alone in this one, and Magnus is more than enough if you ask me when it comes to seeing about the Warlocks. This is like just a pinch or just a small handful of things that I can talk about the world building in the spoiler free section. But if you like world building, or if you want to know the world of the Shadowhunters more and more, then this is a really good book to pick, because it's huge, so there is a lot of space for world building, as well as to explain to you how this world works and how the Shadowhunters survive in this society that they have created for themselves, or the society which has been created for them by some supernatural entities. It's how to say, it's really engrossing in that way, and it just kept me gripped throughout the time. Lastly, talking about the pacing of this book, since it is mostly character focused, the pacing is automatically going to be a bit slow. It's not going to be a page turner in any way. If you want to have a lot of action packed throughout the book, it might be kind of a disappointment, because the fourth book we have a lot of action, but in this one we have action, but for the size of the book the action is a bit less, because we have a lot of character interactions and how to say, the characters getting to know themselves better in a really huge way. So the pacing is a bit slow, yet it is consistent throughout the book, except for the last 100 to 150 pages of the book, during which the plot actually just goes on like fire, and it's just so fast paced at that last chunk. I actually reread the last 200 pages of the book in a single sitting. It was that fast paced. Until then we get a lot of development only. There are also certain twists that occur at the climax of the book. One of the characters experiences a really different kind of biological change, which I did see coming when I read the book for the first time, but on the second time I was able to understand it better, because I was obviously reading it for the second time. And also in the show it was different. Okay, I liked the way they did it in the show, because that character was more deserving to get that biological change than the character in this one. Okay, they are like two of the best Shadowhunters, that's all I can say. Okay, and it was really good in that sense. But if you're looking for a very fast-paced book, this might not be the best one, because it is slow, but it is really worth the slowness that is built into the story. And that's it for the spoiler free part of the review. I obviously rated this one 5 stars. I checked my Goodreads review. First time I rated this just 4 stars, but this time I'm obviously bumping it up to 5 stars, because it was far too better. Okay, I didn't expect that this would happen while I started rereading the book, but I did end up loving it a lot more. And that's it for the spoiler free part. As I said before, now I'm going to jump into spoilers. First, I'd like to talk about Isabel more than anyone in this book, because I think book 5 is mostly an Isabel, Alec and Simon book rather than the book for anyone else, because Clary and Jace, as we see from the story, they are not present with the gang after like 100 pages of the book. Okay, they are totally together with Jonathan. I'm not going to call him Sebastian, because it's not his name. He's Jonathan. And so Jace, Clary and Jonathan are there away from them. They are in Venice, and all of the others, they are in New York, trying to get back Jonathan and Jace in order to separate Jace from Jonathan, and it's going really well. One of the main things which I liked about Izzy is that she keeps on supporting all the main characters of the story no matter what happens. Okay, at this point Izzy itself is a lot broken, because there are two things which are like continuously pulling her apart. The first one is that her family side, that is her father and mother, they are obviously going to get a divorce. It's going to be official, but none other than Izzy knows it within the family. Jace doesn't know it, Alec doesn't know it, only Izzy knows it, and Simon knows it, obviously, because he's the only person that Izzy trusts and tells it out to. During this whole time, she has this family pulling her to one side, and on the other side we have all these feelings for Simon that she has, and she's not sure if she's if she's ready to accept her feelings and go and tell it out to him. She's in this constant dilemma, which is really interesting. But despite all those things, she just shows how strong she is. She keeps on supporting Clary, because Clary just tells the truth to the Clave, and the Clave, obviously, they don't punish her, they just let her free of all charges. But during the whole time that Clary is put on trial, Izzy stands by her side, and she just supports her throughout. in a model way, which is really important, because otherwise how could she just handle it? Because Jace is missing, Jonathan is missing, and obviously all these burden is going to be focused on her, and she's going to be investigated in a really good way, really cruel way if you ask me. And Izzy is the only one that's standing between the Clave and her, protecting her, which is really awesome in every way. After Clary, let's just talk about the brothers that Izzy has. First, Izzy wants to kill Jonathan for the sake of for the reason that he killed Max and just made her helpless in that situation. And after that, she is so energetic in order to find Jace, because she's already lost a brother and she doesn't want to lose another one. He's not her blood, but she is her brother. That's what she keeps on stressing out. That is a selfish reason, if you ask me, behind Alec wanting to get Jace, because Alec has loved Jace during one part of his life, and also they are prioritized. So if Jace dies, there's going to be a lot of consequences for Alec in a physical way and in a mental way. But for Izzy, it's not like that. Okay, only if she allows things to affect her, they will. Otherwise, they won't. But she does take her effort, and she just tries to save Jace in every way that she can. And also, she also supports Alec throughout the time, because she knows that Alec is facing a lot of things, okay, due to his coming out, and due to the fact that he's the only adult Shadowhunter of this gang. So he has to be on the side of the Clave in order to get information from there and deliver it to them. The way he's treated there is not that great, and he's also lost his paradise. So there's a lot of depletion of strength in Alec due to that, because they need to be together. Jace and Alec need to be together, and that's the only way in which both of them can be strong. If one gets affected, the other is also obviously going to be affected in the same way, and it's going to affect both of them in a positive or negative way. However, so she always tries to stand by Alec no matter what happens in every situation, okay, not just for the Clave. Even in his personal life, she is like a pillar of support for him. Of all these things, the best thing which I loved about Izzy in this one is the way in which she starts seeing Simon. Okay, she knows that she is attracted towards Simon, but she's not still ready to accept it. The acceptance phase actually comes during two situations. The one in which she goes to Jordan and Simon's apartment, where Simon is not there, Jordan is only there. So she just gets all drunk up and blabbers everything to Jordan, and Jordan actually advises her to let her feelings out to Simon, so that he also gets to know, because he knows that Simon has this thought about Isabel throughout. And also the time during which Jocelyn just screams at Simon for letting Clary go, and Izzy's all like, she just comes up like a mama bear, and she protects Simon, saying that it was completely Clary's fault, and whether Simon had protected her or not, she would have just ran away in order to save Jace. Okay, she's she's trying to protect Simon. At the same time, she's not going to pull down Clary's character or the way in which she acts in an abrupt way to her mother. It is just a really composite character of Isabel that was represented in the perfect way. Also, the time during which they go to the Adamant Citadel, and Sister Cleophas, she says that Izzy can make a really good Iron Sister. I'm sure, okay, if there's any rank of Shadowhunters that needs a lot of qualification, I'm sure that Izzy is one of the persons who can actually easily slay it, because Alec is someone who's totally sensitive, and Jace is someone who's very impulsive. Izzy is like in between these two guys. Okay, so obviously she shares the impulsive side of Jace and also the intellectual side of Alec. Either of the two can fail at times, but if they are in the perfect proportion, it can always win, and that's what Izzy is in this book, if you ask me. The next one is obviously Simon. Okay, I'd come to Alec, because after Izzy, Alec is the best person in this book as a character. But Simon, I'm saying mainly because he's one of my most favorites. Okay, and the thing about Simon is, in this book, is that he understands what he has to sacrifice in order to save the people that he actually loves. Okay, he goes forward and accepts to Clary's suicidal plan of going behind everyone else's back, and she trusts only Simon, no one else. She gives him the sea reading, and they communicate with each other. The way in which Simon manages this secret, it's going to be a huge problem for him, okay, when people get to know, and he knows that they are going to know in just a day or two max, and they just do get to know, and it causes a lot of problems to him. Yet he does it just for Clary, for the main only sake that she's his best friend, and he'd obviously do anything for her. This is really good in one way, But on the other hand, he also wants to save Jace, mainly because Jace has saved Simon's life in more than one instance in the past 3 books, and Simon has also reciprocated that to Jace in some way or the other. But he doesn't think that this is not a game of paying debts, but he wants to do it to Jace just because he's a really good person. And there are like 2 main instances during which Simon is kind of the hero throughout the book. Okay, if there's no Simon, I'm sure that all of these other people, they would have died. Okay, including Magnus, who would have gone into big trouble if not for Simon's help. That's mainly because he's the person who deserved the Mark of Cain. And the scene during which he banishes Azazel, he summons Raziel. Okay, these are like epic scenes for me. And when Raziel says that he cannot kill him, but he can also not grant him the wish and get back into heaven. And Simon is like, it's not a problem. Since I know that you cannot kill me now, I can ring on to your heavenly doorbell for eternity until you give me the answer. He just goes on and rants like that. And also the scene in which he makes Izzy fall asleep by telling her Star Wars stories, it was just so cute. Okay, they are just the cutest couple of all. And I don't understand why I didn't pay focus to a lot of Sissy in the first time I read it. It was just so awesome. Moving on to Alec, I can see a lot of focus that Alec gives for himself more than any other person in this book, and it's a good thing if you ask me. The ways in which he does things, they are not right, but the things that he has in mind, they are actually really good if you ask me. He's a person who's now thought that much about himself, okay, because he's been so much shielded by all the other people surrounding him, especially his siblings, because they are awesome in every way. He's also awesome, but he just doesn't believe that he's awesome. This is the point during which he starts to realize that he deserves the things that he actually wants, and he goes for it and tries to get them. The only thing which I didn't like about Alec is the way in which he tried to keep Magnus with himself. Okay, he wanted to live with Magnus forever, but the way in which he chooses to do it, that's the wrong thing. Magnus also makes it clear to Alec that not to be in touch with Camille, because she's a very manipulative person. She's really old. She's lived for centuries, so obviously she can easily overthrow Alec and manipulate him in an easy way. He does listen to all those things that Magnus says, yet he goes to Camille and gets manipulated. Okay, he doesn't accept to kill Raphael. That is a really good decision. Okay, because that's what Alec would do. He will not kill a person just for the sake of making himself something in a selfish way. He'll not do that ever. And I liked that slice of Alec which was not at all missed. No matter what happened, he's a kind person. That was revealed at like multiple instances, but his possessiveness towards Magnus, it felt a bit overpowered, because in trying to be with Magnus forever, he actually goes and tries to make Magnus immortal, which is like not cool at all, because you can live with a person forever, but making them mortal is kind of planting the seed for Magnus's death, and it was not at all the right thing to do. And I did like the ending in which Magnus actually breaks up with Alec. We obviously know things are going to change. Okay, even those who have not read the 6th book, you obviously would have guessed that such a good couple, they cannot be split up just before the last book, and they are going to get together, but it's going to take a lot more work. But I did like that scene a lot, and it was a good exploration of the other side of Alec's character. Leaving aside Alec, I cannot say that Magnus also has a lot of role to play inside the story. Okay, the only times during which Magnus is of most help is when he tries to when he summons Azazel, which is not of great use ultimately, and when he he provides a refuge for Jocelyn and Clary, because he doesn't want them to be caught, and there are all walls surrounding. And also at the end, while he helps them to summon Raziel, those are the 2 main instances in which Magnus is actually necessary for the story. One thing which I didn't like at all about Magnus in this one was that he was providing all the help that he could, and he was also ready to take death in its face just for the sake of being with Alec. Okay, he knows that he's been having dreams and visions that the world is going to suffer, and all of them are going to face a really dark time which is going to end them all. Yet he chooses to stay with Alec, which is a really good decision. But one thing which I didn't like at all about Magnus is that he's lived for centuries, so obviously he does know how relationships might work. Okay, he might not have anyone for him, or he might not have married anyone in all the centuries that he's been alive, but I'm sure that he would have had like a long-standing relationship, which obviously means that he has to communicate with the person. Okay, Alec is just 18, he might not be that mature in order to sit down and communicate properly in a way, but Magnus could have done it because he's obviously old, he's more experienced, he's a lot more wise. But my question is that why didn't Magnus do it? Okay, it is obvious that he wants to keep certain things private to him in his memory, but just for the sake of making the relationship in a more transparent way. It's not going to be completely transparent because he's just had 18 years of life, not a love life at all. But Magnus has had centuries of life and a lot of love stories in that centuries of the life that he has lived, and he could have communicated well with Alec, but he didn't do it, if you ask me. Next, I want to talk about the trio, which is like one of the best parts of the story, because we have the protagonist as well as the antagonist put together, and they are just traveling together. They are literally traveling together, and they are going to they are actually fighting for the cause of the antagonist, which was really fun to watch. Okay, the only thing that Clary wants to do is that she wants to separate Chase from Jonathan and bring him back as he was before, but it is not easy because we all know it. Things are not how to say, as they seem right now, and also for Jace, it's not easy for him to sever himself from Jonathan due to the rune, and it is causing a lot of mental stress for Jace in a really great scale, if you ask me. Also, Jonathan is not a really normal person. Okay, he does have like slivers of goodness, but there's this huge sea of badness within him. There are like those slivers of goodness which just peek out and make us believe that, or make us empathize with him, which is like a really good kind of writing, if you ask me. Okay, she has just how to say, portrayed the character of Jonathan in a proper way. He is bad, okay, but he's completely bad, but there's also like dashes of goodness within Jonathan. That scene in which actually Jonathan has those scratches on his back, and Clary goes on to Irazi him. That scene was like really emotional in many ways, but also if you think beyond that point, it's not always like how to say, it's not like Jonathan didn't have a choice. After Valentine died, he could have chosen to become a normal person, or to, how to say, it's not possible to become a good person all of a sudden, but he could have how to say, he could have tried something like a redemption, which didn't occur, and it was a bit bumming out for me. Also, apart from the brother and sister, Jace, he does go through a lot of hell throughout this book. Okay, and I feel a lot for Jace, because at the end, what actually happens is that Clary goes and stabs Jace at the chest. Okay, how many times can a guy die, and how much pain can he endure? Okay, he has been shattered as a child, and he is going through hell now as well, and at last there's no peace even then. He's got heavenly fire in his blood, which is not going to let him how to say, have any kind of physical contact with anyone without affecting them or him in a problematic way, and it was a really good twist towards the end. Going on to some of the characters who didn't get that much page time in the book. The first character which I just adored the most was Camille. Okay, she is like a manipulative bitch. Okay, and the way in which she manipulates Alec, it's like so planned out. She's very schemy. Okay, it felt like watching Cersei as a vampire for me. Okay, and she just did it in the best way. Through her manipulation, she just showed her expertise throughout the years that she's been alive, and it is really awesome in every way. And at the climax, when Camille is actually killed by Maureen. Okay, Maureen is just 13 years old, and I'm sure that Camille is over 300 years old because she was there in the Untitled Devices as well. So she's obviously nearly 300 years old at least, and she is killed by a 13-year-old vampire. Karma. And after all these things, some of the characters who intrigued me a lot were Brother Zachariah. Okay, he is like one of my most favorite characters, guys. I don't know why. Okay, I think that is some relationship for him with the Infernal Devices. And also there is the scene in which Clary asks Jocelyn if she had that birthing ritual that is done for the Shadowhunters, and she says that Magnus did it for her, and they had a silent brother who was sworn to secrecy, and I'm sure that silent brother is Brother Zachariah. That's no other person, because Jocelyn does get shocked when Zachariah comes to Magnus's apartment, and I'm sure that Zachariah was the silent brother, and in place of an ancestor, she says that there was a female warlock. Okay, the only female warlock except Katarina, whom we have seen throughout the series, okay, throughout the world of the Shadowhunters, is Tessa. Okay, and I do think that Tessa might have played the role, because I know that Tessa comes in the last book, and obviously there is some connection between Tessa and Jocelyn, mainly because Tessa was guarded by Charlotte Branwell, who was a fair child, and Jocelyn is a fair child, and obviously there is some connection going on between that. And I also have a theory of who Brother Zachariah might be, but I'm not sure because I don't know how that character might be Brother Zachariah. There's another thing which relates Zachariah to a lot to one of the characters from the Infernal Devices for me, who is Herndale. Okay, he says that he's loyal to the Herndales continuously. There must be some reason behind it, and I do expect that ties in well with the Infernal Devices. Also, when Jace reads The Tale of Two Cities to Clary, there's this note of will from the Infernal Devices that's put on there. It's signed as William Herndale. So Jace doesn't even know who William Herndale is. It's been that long, and also I don't have any idea how Will's book came into the possession of Valentine. It might have been passed on to Charlotte, and from Charlotte to Jocelyn, from Jocelyn to Valentine. This is the route that I can imagine. I'm not sure if it will be right or not. Also, apart from these main characters, so if you know who Brother Zachariah is, please don't tell me. I want to read and know it from Clockwork Princess. Okay, I do heavily think that it will be revealed in that book because I do have high hopes, because Brother Zachariah changes a bit in the last book, and it must definitely be tied to Clockwork Princess. I do expect that. Please don't spoil it for me, please. And apart from these another couple who were like really hot throughout were Jordan and Maya. Okay, they also face a lot of mental pressure in different ways, and they get together, which is really cute in many ways, and they are just a really passionate couple. It was really good to see them like that in the book, because most of the time Jordan was like totally spaced out and zoned out, and when he got together with Maya at last, it revealed his true colors and what kind of a person he is, how good a person he is, all those things, and I just liked that side of the relationship a lot. So as a whole, I thought that it was a really good installment. I'm very glad that I reread City of Lost Souls, because it was far too better compared on the reread compared to the first time, because I didn't like Alec at all and the things that he did on the first read, and that's one of the main reasons why I didn't like end up liking the fifth book on the first read. And now I have completely changed my thoughts and views on that book. It's really awesome. And that's it for today. If you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel, because I publish new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.